sometimes I'll sit there in my head and I'm just contemplating, what do I do next? You know, like, what is the appropriate move to make now?
So they took it off this bishop.
It all starts with a question,
Threatening this pawn.
as does anything. But it also ends with a question. I'm sure many of you have asked yourselves, what am I doing here? What the fuck is the point of all of this? And then you run through some answers, and then you get to the question, does it really matter? And a short while after that, you might come across the next one. But I think the answer to the last question, which isn't really a question, it almost transcends questions, is why not? I don't think people appreciate enough the things that people have anymore. We have the opportunity to achieve all these great things. Maybe that's the problem. You get to choose whatever the fuck you want, right? It doesn't really matter. For most people in their life, they're chasing this idea of happiness, whatever that is. To each their own, it's an individual thing to everyone, but my point is this. Why or when were we taught to chase happiness? And that's been an ongoing question that I haven't really answered yet. We do have a responsibility to take care of our people, but I think that's our primitive instinct. And like, at what point you can ask the next at what point you can also ask the next question is, when did we adopt this idea that taking care of people and caring for the planet and all this stuff was bullshit? But going back to this happiness question, at what point were we taught that we needed to be happy all the time? Well, there's just so many questions that go with that. What type of happiness are you talking about? There's emotional happiness, there's state happiness. Emotional happiness.
Then into the mouth. Nice.
Obviously is reaction based. State happiness, however, is just how you feel at any given moment, when there are no emotions and you're just present in the moment you're living in. However you see this video, or not however, whenever you see this video, just take a second right now and appreciate everything. What do you feel inside? Do you feel peace, happiness, or do you feel sadness? That was one of the biggest changes for me, where I had to change my state because I was perpetually in this fucking sad state where I would naturally be drawn to sad things. Naturally. Because that's how I identified myself with. But with the happiness emotion, and it is completely different, I think we've completely got this out of whack. Why are we chasing this idea of being happy? And it kind of contradicts itself, because you can't be one emotion all the time. You're either no emotion, you're sad, you're happy, you're, I don't know, jealous, whatever. There's millions of emotions. You can also have control over them. That's an entire other topic. When you chase happiness, when you achieve it, you feel happy, and it like doubles up the happiness. Because you got it, you're happy, but you're also happy because you're happy, right? But when you're not happy, and we know you can't always be happy, then you're double unhappy. This is editing, Chris. The point that I'm trying to make here is, to me and my understanding, in order to make the best moves in the direction that you want to go in, you first need to understand the direction that you're even trying to go in. To fully understand that, it might take a while, and that's not impeding on your decision making. You shouldn't be waiting extremely long, or you shouldn't have to figure yourself out completely. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to be stuck in that kind of circular motion there. The point is, you need to make moves, right? You have to make a move. But you're going to make better moves the more you understand yourself. If somebody has the goal of trying to completely understand themselves, by assuming that question, you can never be completely in understanding of yourself. If that is the baseline, if you're constantly asking, how do I completely understand myself? Then naturally you assume that you don't know yourself completely. And that's the basis. So in order to take the correct steps, whatever those correct steps are for you, you need to be asking yourself the right questions.
But my dad My dad, what does he do? His eyes pop out. He flaps his hands. He blows, he puffs, he yells, he bobs his head up and down. He spits. And that really does it.
So one example that I came up with. Jeff Bezos started Amazon out of his garage. He didn't start immediately. He was selling to people in Europe via mail, books. It would have been a slow start. And you look at him now, and people try to form this link between it where they're avoiding many, many moves that he made, which many of those moves might have been mistakes. They'll look at his chessboard and they'll try to find the part where he made the move that extended him the furthest. And so let's say he's got his developed chessboard, and after moving his king, he's already developed Amazon and he's come across quite far. He moved the king and immediately he made $1 million within the next day, within the next week. That was his big break. People are always searching for those moments. What they don't realize is that you can't apply the king move to your chessboard unless you made all the prior moves. So it doesn't apply to you. And this is what people get caught up in. Attempting to make the right move, whatever that means. There is no right move. Every move is the right move, as long as you assessed it was the best move. And even then, if it wasn't the best move, you'll learn from it. So is any move really the bad move? Potentially. I mean, arguably, yes. If you start smoking meth tomorrow, it's probably the worst move you could make. So again, assess your game, make the right move, but don't try to apply all these captivating moves or these really good moves that other people have made that don't apply to you in the slightest. You can account for Jeff Bezos' king move. If that move was his best one, keep it in your memory. It may apply to you later, and that's fine, but that's the point. We have the ability to remember those things. We have the ability to learn from our mistakes, and it's important to realize that you never learn from comfort. As long as you're comfort, or as long as things are easy, you're never learning. And so people are drawn to comfort naturally, and comfort never necessarily has to be exciting or good. A lot of the time, comfort is hell, where people are comfortable being depressed. If you had that innate drive and that anger to remove yourself from that experience, you would, but you like it. There's a part of you that likes being depressed. There's also a part of you that doesn't want to be depressed. And so a part of you hopes that one day you'll make it out. And then, I recommend going back on my other video because this goes deeply into beliefs and things like that. And so it isn't necessarily that you work hard. It's that you embrace the opportunities that you have and you utilize the mistakes that you make. Depending on how you make of situations is what gets you ahead in the long run. Gets you ahead of the competition, right? That's really it. People are drawn to people who are authentic. And if within your authenticity you lose people along the way, they probably weren't your friends to begin with. And so let that go. Understand that you need to be you. And things change. I've had many friends leave. There's hundreds of friendships that I've had that I don't have anymore. I don't spend time with these people. I literally don't even speak to them. And that's okay. And you're drawn towards the people that you want to spend time with. Well, that's it. Changing your ideas gets you closer to where you want to be. And so I'll end on this. If you try hard and you're authentic to you and you don't lie to yourself, you will find people exactly the same. You will. It'll take time, however long. And just remember, if you don't quit, you can't lose.
Nice.